I lost my mind at 20. What happened next will shock you. My name is Sarah, and when I was 20 years old, I completely lost my mind. I do not mean that as an expression. I do not mean I was stressed or overwhelmed or going through a hard time. I mean I genuinely, completely, terrifyingly lost touch with reality. And today, for the first time, I am going to tell you everything, because I have spent years being ashamed of what happened to me, years hiding it, years smiling at people and pretending I was fine when inside I was carrying something so heavy, so dark, so confusing that I did not even have words for it. But I am done hiding. Because somewhere out there, someone is sitting alone right now, feeling exactly what I felt at 20. Feeling like they are broken, like they are dangerous, like they are too far gone to be saved. And I want that person to hear my story, because I was that person, and I am still here. My name is Sarah. I was 20 years old, and this is what happened. I grew up in what looked like a normal family from the outside. Nice house, good neighborhood, parents who went to work and came home and put food on the table. But inside that house, behind closed doors, things were not normal. There was a lot of tension, a lot of anger, a lot of silence that felt louder than screaming. My father was not a violent man, but he was a cold one. He did not know how to show love. He showed up, but he was never really there. And my mother, she was always anxious, always worried, always on edge. She loved me. I know she loved me. But she did not know how to be calm because she had never been taught how. So I grew up in a house full of unspoken things, full of emotions that had no outlet, full of love that did not know how to express itself. And I absorbed all of it, every bit of tension, every unspoken word, every moment of walking on eggshells. I absorbed it and I carried it, and I did not even know I was doing it. By the time I was a teenager, I was anxious all the time, not the normal kind of nervous that everyone feels before a test or a first date. Something deeper, something physical. My heart would race for no reason. My hands would shake. I would lie awake at night with my thoughts spinning so fast I could not catch a single one. I thought this was normal. I thought everyone felt this way. I did not know there was another way to feel. I was a good student. I worked hard. I got into university, and everyone around me thought, Sarah is doing great. Sarah has her life together. Sarah is going to be just fine. But inside, I was barely holding on. University made everything worse. I was away from home for the first time. I was surrounded by people, but I felt completely alone. The anxiety that I had been managing, barely, my whole life suddenly had no structure around it, no routine, no familiar walls, and it exploded. By the middle of my second year, I was not sleeping, not really sleeping, maybe 2 or 3 hours a night. I stopped eating properly. I stopped going to some of my classes. I sat in my room for days at a time with the curtains closed. My roommate knocked on my door, and I told her I had a headache. I told everyone I had a headache. But it was not a headache. Something was happening to my mind that I did not understand, and that terrified me. I started hearing things, not voices exactly, more like whispers at the edge of my thoughts. Thoughts that did not feel like mine, thoughts that were dark and strange and frightening. I remember sitting on my bed one afternoon thinking, am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? And the terrifying answer that came back was, yes, I think you are. I did not tell anyone. I was too afraid. I thought if I told someone they would lock me away. I thought if I said the words out loud they would become more real. I thought maybe if I just kept going, just kept pushing, It would pass. It did not pass. One evening in November, I remember it was raining. I remember the sound of the rain on the window. I had what I later learned was a complete mental breakdown. I could not tell what was real and what was not. I was shaking so hard I could not stand. I was crying, but I did not know why. I called my mother. I did not even know what I was going to say. But she picked up and she heard my voice and she knew. Mothers always know. She was at my door in 4 hours. She drove through the rain in the middle of the night. And when she opened the door and saw me sitting on the floor, shaking, not making sense, she did not panic. She sat down on the floor beside me, and she held me. She just held me, and she said, "I have got you. You are not alone. I have got you." Those words saved my life. The next morning she took me to a doctor, and that day, for the first time, someone put words to what was happening inside me. Severe anxiety, depression, the beginning of what they thought might be a psychotic episode brought on by extreme sleep deprivation and chronic stress. I remember sitting in that office and hearing those words and feeling two things at the same time: terror and relief. Terror, because it was real. It had a name. It was serious. And relief, overwhelming relief, because I was not making it up. I was not weak. I was not broken beyond repair. I was sick, and sickness can be treated. The road back was not fast. I want to be honest about that. It was not a straight line. It was not a movie where you get help, and then everything gets better, and then you learn a lesson and the music plays. It was slow. It was hard. It was 2 steps forward and 1 step back for a long time. I saw a therapist twice a week. I took medication that took months to get right. I withdrew from university for a semester. I moved back home, and moving back home, admitting I could not do it alone, that was one of the hardest things I have ever done, because I had always been the one who had it together. I had always been fine. Admitting I was not fine felt like the biggest failure of my life. But it was not a failure. I understand that now. It was the first honest thing I had done in years. Therapy changed everything. Not immediately, not dramatically. But slowly, over months, I started to understand things about myself that I had never understood before. I learned that anxiety is not weakness. It is a nervous system that learned to stay on high alert because that is what kept you safe in an environment that felt unsafe. I learned that my mind had been running on empty for years, trying to process things it had never been given the tools to process. I learned that the thoughts that scared me, the dark whispers at the edge of my mind, were not me. They were symptoms. Like a fever is a symptom. They did not define me. They did not mean I was dangerous or broken or beyond help. They meant I needed care. I learned how to sleep. I know that sounds simple. But learning how to truly rest, how to let my mind settle, how to stop fighting my own thoughts, that was revolutionary for me. I learned how to eat in a way that supported my brain. I learned how to move my body not to punish it, but to help it. I learned how to recognize when I was spiraling and what to do about it. I learned how to ask for help before I hit the wall. That last one took the longest, but it was the most important. I went back to university the following year. It was scary. I was not the same person who had left. I was quieter, more careful, more honest. Some people noticed and did not know what to say. Some people did not notice at all, and some people, a few beautiful people, saw something in me and came closer. One of them became my closest friend. She had her own struggles. She did not pretend otherwise. And in her honesty, I found permission to be honest too. We used to sit in the university cafe and talk about the real things, the hard things, the things most people pretend do not exist. And those conversations were more healing than almost anything else. Because the loneliness of mental illness, the isolation of feeling like you are the only one drowning while everyone around you swims, that loneliness is its own kind of suffering. And finding people who understood, who did not flinch when you told the truth, that was medicine. I graduated. It took me an extra year, but I graduated. I stood at that ceremony and I thought about the girl sitting on the floor in the rain, crying and not knowing why. And I wanted to go back and tell her, "You are going to make it." It does not feel like it right now. Right now it feels like the end. But it is not the end. It is actually, in ways you cannot imagine yet, just the beginning. I am in my 30s now. I still have hard days. I want to be honest about that. Mental health is not something you fix once and never think about again. It is something you tend to, like a garden. Some seasons are easy. Some seasons take more work. But I have tools now that I did not have at 20. I know my warning signs. I know what helps me. I know who to call. I know how to be honest about what I need. And I know, with every part of me, that asking for help is not weakness. It is the strongest thing you can do. So I want to say something directly to anyone watching this who is struggling right now. Anyone who is in that place I was at 20, scared and ashamed and convinced that what is happening inside your mind makes you different from everyone else. You are not alone. What you are feeling is real. It is not weakness. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is not a character flaw. It is not a punishment. It is an illness, like any other illness. And it deserves care. Please tell someone. I know how terrifying that feels. I know the voice in your head that says, if you tell someone, everything will fall apart. But I promise you, keeping it inside is what makes things fall apart. Telling someone is what starts the rebuilding. Please find a doctor, find a therapist if you can. Find one person you trust and say the words out loud. I am not okay. I need help. Those 6 words, I am not okay. I need help. Those 6 words changed my life. They will not fix everything overnight, but they will start something. And starting is everything. And to anyone who has someone in their life who is struggling, please do not look away. Please do not say, they just need to toughen up. Please do not say, it is all in their head. It is in their head. That is exactly where it is, and the head is part of the body, and it deserves the same care and compassion as any other part. Sit with them on the floor. Hold them. Say, I have got you. You are not alone. I have got you. You do not need to have the right words. You just need to stay. My name is Sarah. I lost my mind at 20. And what happened next? What happened after the breakdown, after the hospital, after the long, slow road back, was not what I expected. What happened was that I found myself, the real version of myself, the one that had been buried under years of anxiety and pretending and holding everything together. She was always there. She just needed someone to sit on the floor with her and say, I have got you. If this video helped you, please share it. Please. Someone in your life needs to hear that they are not alone, that it gets better, that the breakdown is not the end of the story. It is sometimes, in the most painful and unexpected way, the beginning of the best one. Thank you for being here with me today.